So there is a dystopian future in your book, but apart from Ed Balls as Prime Minister, it's all too plausible, really.
Actually, the president in my book is more plausible than the Republican candidate is now. In fact, one of the odd things about politics right now in the United States for me is that I seem to have anticipated a number of things that are already happening. I didn't think they'd happen until 2029. But for example, in my novel, when the United States falls apart, Mexico builds a wall between the two countries to keep American immigrants out.
It's a neat inversion of the Trump wall.
Yes.
But are you saying that Donald Trump, you don't believe that he can make it president, or are you fearful that he might?
I am not fearful. I know a lot of people like me are almost enjoying themselves hanky-twisting about the fall of American democracy. When if you look at the statistics, he doesn't have a prayer. It's going to be an absolute landslide with Clinton. Ironically, according to the New York Times, John Kasich could have beaten Hillary Clinton, who is not very popular, but not Trump.
But a lot of people thought that Trump couldn't make it to be the Republican candidate.
Well, it's true in American politics right now, you know, all bets are off. But I am personally planning on losing no energy worrying about it. I just don't think it's statistically possible. I don't think that my country is that out to lunch.
Or is it because, you know, I think at the time, George Bush, or soon after he became president, you described him as a moron, and you felt shame that he was the president of your country. I mean, what would you feel if Donald Trump was president?
I'm a little disturbed just by having him the Republican nominee, because I think that alone makes the United States look bad. This shouldn't be possible. So internationally, it makes us something of a laughingstock, even if he doesn't get to be president. And my primary concern is not that he will be elected, but that he is in the process of imploding the Republican Party, which is another thing that the Mandibles predicts, that the Republicans do become a laughingstock. They're a very small party, full of old white people, and they have no real command in the country, and de facto, the United States becomes a one-party state. And that's not good for any country.
But actually, you're sort of secretly relieved that this might clear the way for the first woman in the White House, Hillary Clinton.
She wouldn't have been my choice for the first woman in the White House.
She wouldn't have been.
It's not just a personal thing. It has to do with the fact that she is in a position to become elected specifically because she is riding the coattails of her husband, the former president. And, you know, that reads so loud historically that I don't think it makes women look good.
So it's not a triumph for feminism?
It's not a triumph. It is a victory. It is not a triumph.
So, I mean, would you have preferred it? I mean, what other woman would you have picked?
I like Elizabeth Warren. Not a household name over here. But, you know, I do think just because she's not the most appealing person to everyone shouldn't deprive women of taking some satisfaction in the fact that it is at least possible to elect a female president now. And, you know, the U.S. has been late to the party in that sense. There have been any number of countries, like India, for example, that you would never have expected to have been that progressive, so much ahead of us.
Lionel Shriver, thank you very much for joining us.